I'm excited for my next guest, one of my favorite people in the dentisting space. Reminds me a lot of myself. You can bring up my next guest whenever you guys are ready there. Dr. Anissa Holmes, whose team probably feels a little bit like my team. They're kind of surrounded by this fun, friendly tornado. Dr. Anissa, before we dig into your topic, you've been on Dental Nacho as an awesome contributor. We spent time together in person at events, but just give people a 60-second, overview on what does Dr. Anissa Holmes do every day? What are some of your multiple companies, just so they can orient themselves to who you are?
Awesome. So hi, and thank you so much for having me. So I am Dr. Anissa Holmes. I'm a dentist, been a dentist for 24 years. I actually own two businesses. One is a dental practice. I have 4 associates. It is a multi-million-dollar business. Believe me, it did not happen overnight. It was a lot of work, putting in a lot of processes and systems. I also have a coaching company. And in that company, what we do is we help business owners, typically female entrepreneurs, actually, to be able to build multi-million-dollar practices without apologies, right? Because we really do, for women, a lot of times we're building our practice, but we also have to take care of our household. And so it's more important than ever to actually have leverage.
I think what you shared there, Anissa, we're good friends and talk, unique set of circumstances is a good way to put what affects female dentists. Mm-hmm. That is awesome, but also something to be aware of, because I have an amazing associate right now at our satellite practice in this moment. But if she was to take a 3 to 4 month break to have a child, we have to solve that problem. And then if she becomes a practice owner, which I hope she does if she wants, she has to figure out how to fundamentally run a family and a practice, which is a unique. It doesn't mean dads like me are not involved. Doesn't mean that male practitioners. It's just a unique set of circumstances. And over 50% of the dental school classes are females, so we may as well start talking about this in a way that's authentic, in a way that can be spicy, but in a way that's designed towards growth. So I think that's awesome that you do that.
No, it's been really exciting, and really getting to the point of not apologizing about what it took to build a multi-million-dollar practice, and having help at home, and understanding leverage, and investing in my team, and investing in myself, and learning how to run a business. And now my business does run without me. People, processes, and tools. It's in a different state, and I'm collecting a lot of revenue. So that's been really awesome. I'm here today to really share some things, which is really part of my passion and mission. And, many of you guys had an opportunity to get into a lot of our free programs that we had during COVID. And because we have an online training platform, I've been training and coaching and teaching online for about 7 years, probably one of the first people that were teaching online. And so we had an opportunity to give everyone free access. And let me just help you to build your systems, understand profitability, case acceptance. And back in November, I actually talked to Sarah, my team, and I'm like, what if because at that time we're having paid business boot camps that were $4,000 over 4 months. And I said, what if we actually just did it for free? What if we just as a give, because I want to help 3,000 more practice owners, whether you're male or female.
I always say to my wife, I don't interrupt. I just interject with good ideas. I want to just interject with bring up the Anissa's text code, please, so people find out about it. But what I found is, and your words consider the ability to learn from your phone, the ability to learn from your iPad, the ability to learn virtually in your comfort zone at a way that's really, you've made it no risk, right? There's no cost, but people are finding out amazing things. So keep going with your story here, but I just wanted to interject and say this ability to learn from your phone anytime, anywhere has really enabled dentists to capture information that would have cost thousands of dollars in the past, and also time out of your office. So I want you to keep going, but I just wanted to point that out.
Absolutely. So what we decided to do back in November is we had a business boot camp, and over 4 nights, we actually had at 8 p.m. Eastern, so people are away from their practice. We actually spent 4 days workshopping. So the first was, how do we get our team aligned? How do we get them engaged to want to be able to pick up that table and walk across the room faster with us? How do we build systems like whiteboards and scorecards? How do we create inter-office communication? And so we spent the first day actually workshopping on that. It was supposed to go for 1 hour. We actually went for 2 or 3 hours.
Awesome.
The second day, we're looking at case acceptance and case acceptance frameworks. Part of my coaching over the years is really understanding psychology, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And so what we are actually teaching are frameworks that you don't feel like you're selling, that you're getting patients actually to that emotional level. And so day 2 is about case acceptance. Day 3 is about margins. How do we understand if we really are actually even making any money on a filling. And so we actually do that exercise together. I share how do we reverse engineer your numbers. So looking back at last year, what were the gaps? How do you strategize? And how do you actually make a game plan and a roadmap? And fourth day is all about team. How do we hire effectively, group interviews? So we did it and it was awesome. We actually decided, this was great. Let's do it again. In January, we had about 300 more practices, again, completely free. We're giving out 8 hours of CE. And so we're doing it again.
I love that. I mean, I'd love to be part. I'm proud of you so much. A couple of things I want to share from these 4 quarters that you picked. Another basketball analogy for Brandon Hill, who hopefully is not too upset about the Sixers losing game 5. I know he's positive about game 6. But one of the things in that third quarter in this, and I was just at my practice yesterday, working. I've been doing it for 20 years. Dentists, it's like they gaslight us and they say, help as many people as possible, but you also have to charge them money, because if you don't make money, you can't help people. And it's very difficult to be that person in leading a team that has to help as many people as possible, but also be profitable enough to stay in business. So I think that is just awesome that you break down things like a filling, because I think a lot of dentists are just totally unaware of how that works. And it's normal to feel that way.
It's crazy. And so we actually do an exercise and I give the worksheets. And I'm like, let's calculate how much it costs per month for your fixed expenses, right? All of those expenses. So your utilities, all the things that if you had a patient or not, you had to pay for. What are your office, your team costs per hour? Let's look at supplies. And I've done the work. So I have a spreadsheet. I'm like, this is material costs. We break it down to how much does it cost per cotton roll or per needle. And then now it's interesting. I also teach this when I speak on stage. What we find a lot of times is it's costing about $110 to actually do a filling. And then I ask, okay, well, let me ask you a question. How much are you actually getting?
Right.
And a lot of people are upside down. And so it's not saying you have to be comfy for service, but now if you know what your margins are, you can say, you know what, let me schedule the patient in 1 visit instead of 3, because that's 1 needle instead of 3. Or
one of the things I love this, and I'm a kid of the 80s. The nutritional facts in the 1980s were a lie to everybody in the United States. I was in high school and junior high, and what I ate and put in my body at that time was junk. But we were kind of taught that low fat, it was okay if you had this, blueberry muffin. Now I know the nutritional facts. So if I eat fast food or I eat a muffin, at least I know that this isn't good for me, right? And at least I can make better decisions. And what you're empowering these business owners to do is to help them understand the nutritional facts of the dollars, of the marketing, of the team, because it's very challenging to be a practice owner.
Yeah. And one other thing that's really like what drove me to really get into really teaching this is really looking at it. I'm going to actually go through this process on day 3 in boot camp of actually looking at practice owners. And as many of you guys know, I spoke a lot about marketing and I teach marketing and all of that stuff. But the truth is that you can have a great practice. And this one doctor came to me and I was doing an analysis with her. She had a $2 million practice. And you might be like, oh, awesome. The practice is $2 million, right? She was collecting 1.3. And the strategy call was, how are we going to get more production on the top? I said, wait a minute.
Right.
You cannot do that until we look at this. Your collection percentage is horrible, right? And I saw the same thing with a $500,000 practice collecting 200. This is the reality, okay, of what's going on. And so now I'm like, okay, what's the issue? We have to look at margins. So we realized that this was the bigger issue. She wasn't really making profit. And I said, oh my gosh, we need to talk about your PPOs. And she said, Anissa, I'm only on 1. And I was like, what? And, I'm not going to tell you the name of it, but it starts with a letter D. You know what I mean? And so like working harder, she was already doing great with marketing. She had a $2 million.
Right. And that's the sad part.
Yeah, her case acceptance was high, but she just didn't even know what her issues were. So she kept throwing more money on marketing, more money on let me work on my case acceptance, but something foundational she didn't understand. And so now we were able to fix understanding what's happening there, then work on higher case acceptance. And all of a sudden now the practice is thriving, right? And I'm seeing practices grow by $500,000 a year.
And that's why I think what you're really doing is you're helping practice owners treatment plan their own happiness, because there are practice owners that collect $600,000 a year with 50% overhead and are thrilled. There are practice owners that collect $2 million a year with 80% overhead. They're also happy. But unfortunately, there's a lot of practice owners that are dissatisfied, annoyed, frustrated, and you're going to help them. So let's dig into the details, Anissa, because I know our dentist people can text WOW to this number, and it's free, right? There's no cost to be part of this.
No,
it's
absolutely.
Monday, May 2nd, Tuesday, May 3rd, Wednesday, May 4th, and Thursday, May 5th, right?
Absolutely. So it's 4 days. We start at 8 p.m. Every night. We do have a VIP option that will give you an extra 4 hours of training if you decide to do that. But we're here to help. We've given thousands of hours of CE for this program, and we look forward to helping as many.
So you can join for free. You can watch on your computer, your phone, hook it up to your TV. Now, is this good for new practice owners, seasoned practice owners, associates who think we want to own a practice? Does it fit into all those buckets?
Absolutely, because it's really about having those tools. So what's your game plan? How do you hire effectively? And it's also about scaling. And so you have practice owners that are coming in and they're at 3 million and are like, how do I get to 4? Well, if you have whiteboards and scorecards and you have accountability tools, you know how to have effective meetings, you have leaders who you can elevate, that's how you get to the next level. So we're going to talk about that as well inside of bootcamp.
Awesome. I'm so thrilled that you're sharing this with us, sponsoring us. People can text WOW to 215-543-6454. But also, they said people just want to find out more about what you do in general. What's the best website to send them to?
Awesome. So you can go to dranissaholmes.com and learn more about what we're doing. Honestly, we've got 3 buckets. We have a Facebook group as well, Dental Biz Chicks, which is there to really have workshops and lots of great opportunities for learning for women dentist entrepreneurs. Men, you're welcome as well. But awesome. we definitely are working through like, how do you lead a practice and grow your wealth and not apologize as a woman, right? So we're doing that. We also have our Dental Boss Academy, which is an online training platform, which is about scheduling and hiring and marketing and all of the systems. And then we do have a full coaching program, but this is our give. We do this quarterly. So we look forward to seeing all of you guys. Don't buy anything yet. Just join boot camp.
Yeah, just join, check it out. Just find out. I love what you're doing. As a hang around backstage for a minute. Thanks so much for being on with me.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, guys. So as you guys see, awesome episode of Talking Nachos. Share this with your friends. Share it with your team. Work on your marketing. Work on your morale. Work on running that dental business in a way that makes you happy. Just like we customize treatment plans for patients, customize your own happiness to your family. Maybe it's producing a lot. Maybe it's having low overhead. Maybe it's a combination of both. Learn from awesome sponsors. And thanks so much for being here with us today.